Peace and grand rising to the sovereign, original, indigenous, natural, divine heirs. Today is the very first day of the holy month of March. This month, we're looking forward to our new year. Uh, it is the year 2026 on the ancient moon calendar, 2026 on the ancient sun calendar. It's 5786 on the ancient Hebrew Israelite calendar. It is 10,067 on the ancient Yoruba calendar, and it's millions and millions and trillions and millions of years on the ancient Moorish calendar. Our calendars marked the first day of time, and our calendars continue to be outside of time and containing all time within them. And for that, we are grateful. All rise and stand and remain standing into perpetuity in alignment and according to the ancient Noahide laws as stated by this Holy Congress. This is a sovereign living ancient Article 3 Moorish American Al-Moroccan Universal Court action. We are the Divine Sovereign Living Justices and Aqquisitionne Pauline Ritchie, Sovereign Living Justice, and my chosen sovereign appellation is like tajiri Bay. All are in capitis diminutionolo, in red ink, in propria persona sui juris, in proprio solo, and in proprio heredes. We are capit et corpus juris lex and legalis, which is our statement that we are the one and only, lawful and legal, natural living head and body for our empire. And those are not ego statements. When we say one and only, that means that no one can create a nom de guerre war name and say that it's us. So that's why we say one and only. All Moors are the divine, original, indigenous, sovereign, ancient, Al-Moroccan, Moorish American descendants of the great pharaohs of Kemet and of the ancient Moabites, Canaanites, Shemites, Israelites, Cushites, Tartarians, and Hittites. Our full faith and trust, our allegiance, our honor, our credit, and our energy are hereby vested in ourselves, for we are the people who are the original indigenous, natural, divine, sovereign, ancient Moroccan Empire. We're the de jure Moorish National Republic federal government. We are ancient Washington District for Columbia. We're the Universal Moorish American Consulate and the Earthwide Article 3 Moorish American Consular Court. We are the law by our sovereign status, which is the original indigenous, natural, divine, sovereign, ancient Article 3 living United States District for Columbia Court. And we are the sovereign fiduciaries, original creditors, executors, divine ministers, possessors, grantors, and title trustors for all causes for action, and we and our system are the trustees. We are P, we are one nation, one state, one empire, and one God. We hereby recognize ourselves and accept our sovereign divine ascension. We do possess in our custody all land, all natural resources, and all commerce. We, the true living God nation, are peace, peace, peace. We are the mother nation, and we are all eternal, ancient, original sovereign rights at this time and at all points in time, nunc pro tunc. So the first thing that we will to express to the Congress, after talking with Moors all week, after looking at the enactments as well as the presentments that are happening, there seems to be in the funny mirror a move to get the masses to fall in love with poverty. They're trying to make living on the road, being a nomad with no place to lay your head, they're trying to make that look glamorous and desirable and all of that. After all the things that we saw in the previous era. It was just the opposite of that in the previous era. And now they're trying to make, living in poverty and living on the streets the best way you can, knowing all the secret places to go and hunt for trash. They're trying to make that look glamorous. We are the highest echelon at all times. And that might not be what you're seeing for yourself at this moment, but you have to change your vision, because what we were seeing in around us in the previous era was all fake. It was all false. It was fake lack, fake poverty. It was even fake wealth. So don't fall in love with poverty, and don't fall in love with the place that you're at right now. Even if you're comfortable right now, don't fall in love with that, because there's more for you. There's more for all of us. Wealth and abundance and purpose are us. Let's keep our thoughts high, keep our words high, keep our expectations high, and keep our manifestations high. We're manifesting things, and with each manifestation, it's starting to match what we see for ourselves, because we see at the very highest of wealth and abundance and prosperity, because that is the nobility. You know, that's who we are. Um, we have noticed that, um, you know, the messages coming through those frequencies, because we are at the highest frequency, so we see what's happening there too. And at the highest, most wealthiest, most abundant frequency, the message is at the highest frequencies of wealth and abundance. The message is that if you get really comfortable, that you may lose sight of your purpose. That you may lose sight of your purpose, because you're so comfortable, you won't have that fight in you. And it's not fight; it's um, reaching for the opportunity, and reaching and uh, doing things to keep protected. But I differed with that message as I received it from that level of wealth. I differed with it. I differed with it because we can still, because once now that we know that all the wealth is ours, we still have to keep it. We still have to keep it. Yes, things are easier at that frequency, but we still have to, we still have to build. We still have to work together. We still have to, do things among ourselves and each other. And, you know, so the challenges will still be there. We still want to be our best, you know, the best that we can be. So I did have a bit of you know, I took issue with that. You know, the ancestors show us things and things like that, and they give us they like to hear what we think about it, and we're not moved by being the wealthiest. We just know that um, it's not going to turn us into a lazy vegetable. you know, it's almost like when people achieve that goal, they get bored. Not us, not us, because there's so much to do. We can do so much more with the wealth that we have. So those were just my thoughts on that frequency as it continues to manifest for us. So having stated that, speaking of the highest levels, the highest echelons, because this has everything to do with our travel, the way we move, the way we travel, the way we do things, the way we live on our daily lives, you know. We have a question, a couple of questions actually. We were talking about our travel, and we know that we are above all where our resources are concerned. So the question that we have for this Congress is a chief executive officer an employee? That's the first question. Because see, we know we're the chiefs of everything, all resources, all everything, all wealth, all abundance. We're the chiefs of all of that. And we know that chief executive officer is a company term. So generally, when one is working in business and mercantilism, Islam. Generally, when one is working in mercantilism and commerce, that is one of the offices, chief executive office. So that's the question: is a chief executive officer an employee of let's say a post office, which that's not even it would be a chief for the post office. Is the chief an employee?
Islam. I say no. I say no, Empress.
Okay, and why would you say no?
In the funny mirror, the CEO said how everything goes. So that means everything that's done is under her. So, from that aspect, he would just be more of a director, initiator, guide.
Yeah.
Islam.
Those are good thoughts, nobility. Good thoughts. In the right direction, definitely. Anyone else? Because see, we fired some actors. Did you know what that office was about when you fired the actors? So see, we have to know all aspects of what we're doing. And we do, we know it. We can feel it in the spirit. We may not have the words for it at the time, but we feel it in the spirit. Islam members.
So chief executive officers are employees. And the office of chief executive officers are part of a military departmental office. That's how maybe that's not the best way to describe it. It is an office that has to do with military action, because the disbursements that come from corporations that have chief executive officers are under that kind of classification of corporations. I'm thinking most corporations are part of that, but that's what I found in my research as well.
Chief executive officers, even in the enactment from the previous era, they are not employees. We are not employees. And the reason that we are not employees, and even from the previous era's enactment, is because of the way the contract is written. It's all about the contract for that particular space. A chief executive officer is the same as a public servant. They have a separate mission statement than employees. Employees have one mission statement that they're given by the company. Chief Executive Officer has a different one. His is not the same as theirs. His pay structure is not the same as theirs. His oaths, as it were, are not the same. Everything is different for a Chief Executive Officer. So they're not considered, even where taxes and things are concerned, they're not considered employees. They're considered a mix between a freelancer and a contractor, except that at any time they can do things, whether it be in the interest of the company or not. They can do things the way they see fit, which is not what employees have the luxury of doing. But again, it's all about the contracts. Their contracts don't come from the same place as company contracts either, because they have a connection also with, quote unquote, Wall Street. So their connection with that, and their connection with the company, and their connection with politics, their connections that way with politicians, and with even with Washington, D.C. in their enactment. Totally different from an employee. Completely different altogether. That is correct. Justice Ogunwale stated that employees receive salaries and wages. Chief executive officers don't. That is correct. That's one of the main differences also. So,
then do chief executive officers, so who is the owner of a corporation then? We know we are the owners.
Oh, you're in?
Does that mean that all corporations have no owner without the Moors?
No, that's not what that means. What that means is that when you look on, let's say, a quote-unquote Secretary of State's website, there's a registered agent and all of that, but because they have to register on the Secretary, or had to register on the Secretary of State's website, then guess who really owns the corporation? The state.
Islam.
The state.
Yes, and along those lines, because I was sitting here going back in my mind, asking myself a question about the legitimacy of, or the illegitimacy of, a corporation that pretends to be a country. Now, can we go over that, the case law that states that a corporation, United States, is not a government? Please, just from my memory.
It would just be the Clearfield Doctrine.
The Clearfield Doctrine?
Clearfield Doctrine. The Clearfield Doctrine states that corporations, see, who is a corporation, or what is a corporation? They say it's a person, but a person is not a people. So then, whose name would be on the line where it says this one owns the corporation? It would be the state. Now, who is the state? The state is the people.
Yes.
So yes,
I agree.
The people do own all corporations. But see, the people forgot that when Washington D.C. started putting military in all the states. And then paramilitary, which was actors acting as police. That's paramilitary, in case you didn't know. And they would keep that heavy boot on the people, so the people forgot that the people were the owners of all that. So then what did we do? We woke up and started slinging liens all over the place to remind everyone who the creditor is, who's the head. We started putting liens on everything, all over the place, to let them know that we're the creditor. You owe us. We don't owe you at all. And in fact, a corporation is not even living unless we say it is, unless we create it. You see? So it is by way, the same way of the financial process that we let all corporations know. We remind them who created them. Remind them who their mommy and daddy is. We just reminded them. And that's when you start seeing the backpedaling and pulling back and starting to say, well, y'all don't have to do this and you don't have to do that. Well, we knew that. We knew that. And those are not ego statements. Those are process statements. That's the people.
Islam.
I
need to ask you a question as you talk about lien. So when we do a lien, well, let me begin by saying, when they do a lien, they follow basically an administrative process, and they can execute the lien because what they do, they put it against our garnishments, your wage, or thing like that, or they put it against real estate. Usually they go behind your back, and they put, if you have a house and that's registered, they usually attach the lien to it, and then they can execute, kick you out of your home, and that's how they effect their lien. What is the process? Through the sheriff, that's what they do. I wouldn't all know that they're actors, but these are things that actually affect people. What is our process in terms of letting that lien becoming effective against their assets?
So before any of that takes place, there must be proper identification of the parties. You said that their processes affect people. Their processes don't affect people who know that they're people and not persons. So only when you accept their person, that's the only time.
You break the law, you go to jail. Boom.
And he's right about that. Anyone who breaks the law goes to jail. And who's the law? We are. So, Justice, if you accept because see, they don't do any of that of evicting, and none of that happens without some paper coming first. Am I correct about that?
If you agree.
There's some paper that comes first. Quite a bit of paper, actually, that comes first. When you know who they're talking to on the paper, and you know how to properly state and identify who they're talking to on the paper, then you won't have the problem of eviction. You must know that. And to know that, That means that you have to know who you are in reality and who they are pretending to be. See, Justice Willie, they always come under the cover of a corporation to do a quote-unquote eviction. They never come as a person, as one-on-one. They don't do it that way. They try and say they're XYZ company that you owe. Well, the people have authority and jurisdiction over all property, and a company is property. A corporation is property. It's not a people, it's property. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So you have to know that before you can implement, and our processes look very similar to theirs, except we do them from a lawful perspective first. And for some of us who know the processes, you know, because we've been doing them, we do the lawful and the legal at the same time. So the same way that they would file a lien, we would do it, but we wouldn't do that first. We would do it first the way we do it, which is the living people using legal size affidavits by court action. The living people, we do it that way first. Then we'll send a mechanics lien or an agricultural lien, and for us, a Universal Commercial Code 1 lien. That's how we do it. We do it the same way. Due process, notification of the parties. If you think that you're talking to a living being when you're really speaking to a court, if you think that a court is speaking to you, you will argue back and forth with them over nothing. They don't have any authority or jurisdiction, but you have to be able to competently say that and state that without being pulled into a crematorium or a cemetery by them. We see it all the time, nobility. Moors that could have kept their property, but they kept answering as a corpse. Every time they would send a piece of paper that says, you owe this, and, you know, so-and-so owes that, they would be like, oh, no, they said I owe this. No, they're not talking to you. You're not an all-caps corpse. That's not who you are. So what you do is you respond to that, and it's not even a response. It is an initiation of a court action. You initiate a court action. When they do that, you initiate a court action, and then you speak to the matter. And you must rule on the matter and use court process. There's always a hearing first. What is a hearing? Can the courts hear you? No. So you speak to the subject behind those actions. And our process is the same. It looks almost identical, except that we do the lawful first and then the legal. Oh, that's so important for what we're about to do. It's so important for where we are. We had to get the lawful together first. We had to get the courts and the banks and the titles together first. That had to be done by this nation first. So we did that. Now we can speak to the matter using a mechanics lien or a Universal Commercial Code 1 lien or whatever, and then we can actually do a foreclosure. Sure can.
All right, so enforcement now.
Yes. Enforcement will be there when you get to that point. It's already there waiting on you.
So you're asking them. So are we asking them to, like, the sheriff, and go to the sheriff and say, I follow this process, put a lien, now it's time for you to execute? Because do we have our own sheriff to do that? That's the question I'm asking.
We absolutely do have many sheriffs just waiting at that point When we get to that point, they're there already. They just been waiting for us to know the processes and to execute them.
Who are those sheriffs?
You don't. Do you know the process first?
Well,
We don't
yeah.
Do you know the process first?
I think I do. Administrative private process.
Any process to protect your property and you. Do you know the processes? Because see, they don't have to come if you don't know the process. They don't have to come if you don't know how to call them. You have to actually know how to summon them to you. And that is only done by way of continuing to do the whole process and get that process completed.
But don't we need, like, if you're running a court and don't you need a jury, grand jury?
No. We don't need one. We can have one if we will to have one. This Congress is a grand jury also. But see, grand juries even, and think about this, Justice Willie, what is a grand jury for? What's the purpose of a grand jury as opposed to a regular jury or a chancery court?
Well, you basically need to the preponderance of the evidence and to look into the whole matter so that you can make a fair judgment, isn't it not?
Of course. And who says that that I can't do that or you can't do that? Where does it say that at?
It's not that I can do it or you can do it, but I think it's more appropriate when you're dealing with situations like that. It's usually, like they say, two heads are better than one. It's best to have, the Bible said there's safety in numbers. So you would want to have, a process where others are involved rather than you just acting single-handedly.
So what do you think this Congress is?
But I've not been attending. Well, I don't know if you actually have like matters being brought up, individual matters being brought up to make decision on.
You're bringing one up now.
As a court, right? I know you have discussions and Congress and the whole works, but like if let's say someone has a individual problem, do they bring it on this platform and get the matter decided from our court and lien and execute and all of that? I don't know if you do that.
This Congress empowers each sovereign, and really we all we are doing is empowering each other to do that. We've done it many times, by the way. I've had where this court issued a ruling in my favor twice. They were the jury for of my peers on an issue of mine. And what this court stated was 100% accurate and effective and enforced. I've not had any issues at all with the matter since then.
What was that matter all about, if you don't mind?
It was about actors pretending to be City of Federal Way, coming to the door and knocking on the door and trying to contract with someone who did not have any contracts with them.
Okay.
Haven't had a problem yet since then, and don't have any. Because this is a powerful Congress.
So you're saying if I have a matter here, personal matter, I can bring it here for it to be decided?
You can do that, Justice Willie, but there are certain principles that you must know before you can even do that. You have to know that the power resides in you to remedy the matter because you're sovereign. That's first and foremost. But if you will, we have affirmed one another in various times, many times, in personal matters. But you have to know. See, I had to know that I didn't need 50 more standing at the door to keep them from coming in. I had to know that I did not need that. All we had to do was speak the word, and this place was protected. And that's been years. It's been years since that. Years. But I had to know that our word is enough, that our agreement is enough, because out of the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, every word is established.
Right.
You have to know those things. See, that's not just hyperbole. You actually have to apply that in your everyday life. You must. You also have to know that the ones that you call sheriff and all of that, that's not who they are, and you must stop calling them that. See,
we all know that they're actors. They already say they're actors.
No, we all don't know, because some still keep calling them that, sheriffs and police and judges. It's only when you stop calling them that and call them what they really are that we know you know. Otherwise, you don't know, because it keeps coming out your mouth. And that's the only way I know that I know how to feed a baby is if I actually feed the baby. I can't keep telling the baby I know how to feed you and don't feed them. That's the only way anybody knows you know. That's the only way you know you know. Is that every time your mouth says the right words. Because guess what right words is? It's jurisdiction. That's what jurisdiction means, right words. And if you keep using the wrong words, then you continue to yield to that jurisdiction with your mouth. And then they can kick the door in. So, that's a protective measure. Right words is a protective measure. It's not a casual, well, we all know it, but, I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying. No, I don't know what you're saying. I don't know it. I don't understand that. I don't. And for your own safety and protection, you'll fix it. I tried to tell some more that recently, and they still took it casually, and the actors did what actors do. All we're saying is watch your mouth, because we have to watch ours. We don't know you know it. If you keep talking about sheriff, well, the sheriff did this and the sheriff, please be quiet, because that's not a sheriff for us. We know they're actors. That's why we call them that. And we're not a part of their theater. It's only when you agree to be in that jurisdiction that you'll keep saying that and thinking it don't matter. Because it does matter. Matter means manifestation. That's what matter really is. So yes, it does matter. What comes out of your mouth, particularly on this platform, because we prefer that it be, we've worked really hard to keep this platform in the proper space and place. And now that we're there, we're in the proper place, everyone coming onto the platform, it is best that you call things what they really are, because this is a powerful platform. Very powerful. Why? Because we're all here. Empress Nabi, you were going to make a statement. Empress Nabi, are you? Yes.
Yes. Gratitude. One of the things I wanted to add was being executive rulers, we don't necessarily need to give a subject a jury. So that was one of the things that I was, going to, points I was going to make.
Yeah, well, Empress, that's in alignment with a chancery court. Because, see, a chancery court doesn't have a jury, it has a ruler. That's the court that the one actress that was previously acting as Queen Elizabeth, that's how she did all her stuff. her enactment
And just
through a
court.
chancery court.
Islam.
Yeah. And that we are well aware of. That's why we don't hesitate to issue rulings from our court at any time. It can be a Tuesday, Wednesday, it could be midnight, it could be 3 o'clock in the morning. We're issuing rulings. We do it all the time. Did it this week. This strong, rather. It's the word. In the beginning was the word. The word was with us, and the word is us. And that ain't going to change. It's going to be just like that forever. Always has been, always will be. Islam.
Islam.
Justice Ogunwale.
When we give a ruling verbally, is it necessary to back it up in documents?
Yes, because we are a court for record. So even if it's 6 months, and we try not to have it be that long before we put the documentation out there, but a red ink signature and a seal and a stamp is necessary for us. So yeah. Islam. We follow up, and the Spirit always gives us a little reminder to go ahead and send that ruling that you issued. Send the word so that they have something in writing and real that they can have in their hand as they obey the command.
And a simple affidavit will suffice?
Sure, of course.
Islam.
Particularly when you have all your documents on the public record. Things get a lot easier when you have all those documents on your authorities on the public record. We know our authorities, yeah, we know them. But to put it on the public record means all the world knows. That makes things so much easier. Then you can do a one-page demonstration. Question number 2. What level is above Chief Executive Officer? Because again, we're talking about travel, we're talking about how we live, we're talking about access. What level is above Chief Executive Officer? And this will assist with the questions you were asking about where he gets his documents and his pay and his stock options and all of that. And who owns the company and the resources. The answer to this question will tell you that.
Islam.
Islam nobility.
Would it be the sovereign?
Yes, there's a title and an office.
Okay.
Yeah, they didn't call them sovereigns in the previous era.
Islam.
Islam.
Would that be the board of directors?
That's one of them, yes. And the board of directors, quote unquote, was something they inserted in there because we were asleep. So there's another title, yes, Islam.
The chairman.
You could say that too. Yes, you could say that too. Those are the chairman and the board, and this is what kind of negates or moves the Federal Reserve out the way, quote unquote. Is yes, they have a chairman, yes, they have a board of directors, but there's someone more powerful than them.
It's not the shareholders.
You could say that too, but there's still someone even more powerful than them. Someone more powerful than them. I'll give you another second or two, and then I'll tell you.
Islam.
Islam members.
Oh, I have sound now. I'm wondering, would that be the secretary for the state?
No.
No? Okay.
More powerful than that office. See some things in the chat. You could say the people. You could say that. You could say the people, but they not the president. Way more powerful than that.
Islam.
Islam.
Our government, the Moorish National Republic federal government.
You could say that, but you could say that. That's true too, but that's not the name they called it in the previous era.
Islam.
There was a name. An office in the previous era, not magistrate. Not that one. Even though this office is all of that combined, but they didn't call him a sovereign. Islam members.
The head of state, the head for the state. I mean,
even more powerful than that.
Even.
Yeah.
Empress.
You could say that, yes, but they didn't call it that in the previous era.
Sultan or Sultina?
This office was all of that in the previous era.
Islam.
Nobility.
Creditor.
Huh?
Creditor.
That's part of it. Okay. It's encompassed. So let me tell you. The founder of the company hired all those offices that you talked about. The founder, and that's why they always refer back to their founder, quote unquote. They say the founding fathers. That's the highest office that no one ever talked about unless they were talking about the making of a nation. And even the corpses and the corporates would talk about the founding fathers. So the founder of a company or corporation. And then in the not-for-profit area, a foundation was the highest level above corporations and sole proprietorships and LLCs and all of that. If you do a 508 foundation, you're going for all the marbles. A 508 foundation, that's what those that were doing business as fake Jews, that's what they were using, foundations. Because it wasn't really shown on, most of them were not shown on Dun and Bradstreet. But everybody knew about them. The founder. And so by bloodline and birthright, see, that's what they were claiming, but they had a different, George Washington and Thomas Jefferson were claiming to be founders, but they used a different meaning for that word. What they were saying was that they came here and they found some things abandoned, so they started claiming the stuff. And George Washington was was the father of claiming to find things over here and claim it properly using all capital letters. Using capitalism. That's why they loved him so much. That's why every state has either a Washington City or Washington County or something, a statue or something, a town or something. Streets named Washington. Because he brought them capitalism and showed them how to use it, just like what we're doing. We're showing you how to I won't say defeat, I'll say turn it in your favor. Defeat the foreign capitalism, and then 18 United States Code 1001B, and be the nation and the state and the government over those things. That's why Washington State, quote unquote, is the only state that has a face on their flag, because it all started over here, unlike what they told everyone. It started over here and went that way. No other states had a face, the likeness of a person on their flag, except Washington. And there's a whole other story behind all of that. They have the proof of all of that here. And they didn't tell anybody in the schools what that's all about. So with that being stated.
Islam, Empress.
Islam nobility.
I'm glad you brought that up. I'm in the middle of that navigation with lien levy bond of my company, articles of organization, whatever the other one is. And I had that question of what do I call myself? It says, I don't have it with me, but who organized the company? And I left it at that, but it really should be founder. Who founded the company?
Yes.
Yes. Gratitude for that. I'm in that navigation now. Gratitude, Empress.
Yes.
Islam.
Now, that title changes everything, even in terms of travel. Because, we were talking about travel. And the ancestors reminded us as we were looking at the United States codes and things, the ancestors said, keep your thoughts up high. It has to be higher than an employee. You can't be an employee. We can't be employees. That's why we put that question forth. Now, I'm not telling anyone what to do, okay? You can do what you will to do. You're sovereign. As for me and my house, me and my palace, we have elected to stay in the high places. That's why in the secret treaty of Verona and in most treaty negotiations, they call us the high contracting parties. That's way up here. We have to stay up here in our thinking. And so the ancestors said, even as you travel, you can use the United States codes to solidify some things, and we'll show you one of them today. But first, we have to rewrite it. And secondly, we have to keep our status elevated when we use them, so that we are not down here on the level of employees. And again, those are not ego statements, those are status statements. Because even as an employee, you know, there was a contract that had to be signed that said you were going to agree to do what the boss told you to do. And that's not how our nationality and our status work for us. Now, again, Moors can work if they will to work, especially if you're in a company founded by Moors and in an honorable position. Hey, do that, please. But we have to keep our status and everything. All that we do, we have to keep it high up. So with that being stated, that brings us to the United States Code that I was speaking of. Because, again, we were talking about travel. We know that we're the founders for the post office, not just the postmasters general. Yes, we're the postmasters. We are that. We know that job. And I know that's what the ancestors had us do all of this for. It's so that we knew every job from the beginning to the end, every job. And if we didn't know something, we knew where to go and look so that we could restate it. So 39 United States Code 5007 says, it talks about free transportation of postal employees. And again, we have to rewrite this. We can't use it as it is because we're not employees. We are the founders for the post office. Our ancestors founded it, and by bloodline, birthright, inheritance, and nationality, we are the founders. That didn't end because we are our ancestors' return. It says each person or carrier engaged in the transportation of mail shall carry on any vessel, any train, any motor vehicle, or any aircraft he operates, upon exhibiting credentials and without extra charge. Therefore, persons on duty in charge of the mails or when traveling to and from such duty. And then B2 says an air carrier engaged in transporting mail shall carry without charge on any plane it operates those agents and officers of the Postal Service traveling on official business related to transporting mail by aircraft, as prescribed by regulation of the Secretary of Transportation on exhibiting credentials. And so what we would do is present our founder credentials. Yes, we're the Postmasters General. We have that under our belt. And now we present post office founders, because guess what? The post office appeared to be abandoned until we revived it. So we're the founders of that, even now today. They've been operating a postal service, a retail business, quote unquote. But the land post office, land, air, and water post office that reaches all the world and all the earth, we founded that.
Islam.
So
Islam
nobility.
There seemed to be something going on indeed with the post office. I used to be able to send like registered mail from Canada to the United States. And I noticed that now they're saying no, they're not doing it again. One, they're telling you to do some app, then they tell you the app not working, then they blame it the tariff. So there seems to be something going. I don't know what is going on, but they're not coordinating with like a registered mail from Canada to United States of America. So any idea what's happening there?
Justice Willie, were you sending it as an international shipment or a domestic shipment?
International.
Say again?
That would be international because it's cross-border.
Okay, that's the problem. It's domestic.
Yeah.
Yes. I've sent things there domestically, and the heirs receive them.
Mm-hmm.
I've sent things to the islands domestically, and the heirs receive them. But that's what we stated about Mexico, the islands.
Is that with tracking?
Yes.
Okay.
It's our regular government mailing process. I sent something to Canaan Land. Is the recipient of what I sent here present here today? I believe it was Empress.
Empress, why not? Islam.
Yes, it was Empress. Why not? And also Empress. Empress. Yes, Empress Shernette.
Islam.
And those things were sent domestically, and both received them. And so that's why the processes are changing, and we're changing them. And so, if you will to send something, it has to be sent domestically because we're all one. There's no border there for us. I could send you something today. I've sent things to the islands as well, and they've received them.
So, in order to send something to the U.S., what would that process look like in terms of tracking?
Let me give you the link to the video. It's 8 minutes. It's an 8-minute video. Do you have time to watch 8 minutes? Here's the 8-minute video of the mailing process. If you just do it like this, then here, and I'll put the link in the chat. There, the link is in the chat. Moorish American Government prepaid mailing process. There you have it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Islam. That's why we put such emphasis on the government mailing process, because the mail system that we created is doing exactly what we were supposed to do.
Assalamu alaikum.
Prepaid
Islam, Empress.
Islam.
And gratitude to the Grand Sheikh Truste, who most recently reminded us that a Mexim is named for the land.
Yes.
Islam.
Our land, and that's the Western Hemisphere, but it's the whole earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof, the world and they that dwell therein. It all belongs to us. And the name that we give the land is whatever we will. Some call it Turtle Island. Some call it other name, other appellations. It's okay. It is all of that. Everyone is correct. Everyone's right. So we are the founders with access above the C-suite level. C-suite level is, chairman and CEO and all of that. That's what they call the C-suite level. We are the founders with access above that. When we apply 39 United States Code 5007, we're not saying that for employees, we're saying that for founders. Okay? Because we're applying it as the founders. We were looking at this process and doing our research. We came to some information, we came to a an agreement between, it was an enactment between the post office, or not the post office, the postal service, and some other group. So we took that letter and restated it so that it suits our needs, not needs, our will. So United States Post Office, and we dated it for today, to all officers and offices, the topic is agreement between United States Post Office and all airlines, all carriers, all private jet charters, all flight crews, all company airplane charters, all trains, and all ground transit. And I think I want to change this word transit to transportation. Yeah, not transit, transportation. Yeah. It says, we are pleased to announce that the Post Office has issued and affirmed this court order with the national transportation industry for a standing collective agreement in alignment with 39 United States Code 5007 and all other laws. All parties to this affirmation are hereby notified at this time by this proclamation. This court order proclamation is effective immediately for the Post Office founders, who are the trustors, and all parties to this action. Highlights for the new agreement include immediate, expedited, secure, reliable, and accurate movement for first-class parcels, highest priority for first-class parcels, first-class travel for United States Post Office founders, wide range of travel options for convenient travel scheduling, immediate implementation of the first-class travel process due to wide range of first-class seats available, system-wide notification, ease of travel for United States Post Office founders and for travel industry workers. Overall, this agreement will result in immediate commercial excellence and coordination between and among all industries presented. All rights perfected at all times. Pauline Ritchie, Foundoor, United States Post Office. And then we just followed the format. We just followed that format, and this is what it looked like. So what we'll do is we'll autograph this and publish it and send it out everywhere. Now, we'll also, each one of us will, it will be important that each one of us have a copy of this memorandum and send it out from our areas as well, and you should put your appellation as Foundoor as well. Put your appellation as the founder and send it out everywhere that you feel necessary. If you're leaving your territory and going to another territory, then go ahead and send it to both territories, so that this can be widespread. Now, the most recent time where each one of us did a mass mailing, and we still to this day have all the tracking numbers, and it worked very effectively, is when we sent out the notice of existence of the Moorish American Consulate. back in 2018. We sent out to all 50 actors in the Office of States. We sent it out with tracking numbers. We kept all of that. We sent it out everywhere. And it was very effective to let it be known that we exist. Islam.
And even get a conveyance. No conveyance, no self.
Do you have a copy of that document at hand you could display on our screen? We could see it, please?
Yes. This is it right here. It's being displayed right now. So if you would go ahead and take screenshots of it so that you can make it for your territory as well.
Okay. Is this the same one you referred to for back in 2018?
No, the one from 2018. Okay, that was the notice of existence of the Moorish American Consulate.
Right.
And that one, you can Google that. You can Google it and find it. It's easy to find. It's on Scribe. It's everywhere. You can Google that.
Okay.
It's called the Notice of Existence of the Moorish American Consulate, and it was signed by the great Chief Tajiri Bey, myself, Chief Justice Jamal, Empress Sharon Tracy Gale Bay, Co-Consular General Shalay Moore Bay, and probably 8 or 9 others, 8 or 9 other Moors that you've probably heard of. So the Notice of Existence of the Moorish American Consulate is the name of the appellation of the document, Islam. So for this one, this document right here, and we'll go ahead and show you the document in its entirety so that you can take screenshots and create it for yourselves and for your territory. It's a very short document.
Gratitude for that information, Empress.
Islam. I'm so grateful for the screenshot feature. This also is a reminder that we are not employees. It's a reminder. So let us move forward with regard to the states. Speaking of the states, speaking of our travel and things of that nature. So the federal government, we were talking about how this works with the money appearing for the states. This is the same way money appears at any point. The federal government issues a statement of work proposal for all states. In other words, what is your state going to do? Now, because we've moved on to another topic, but the topic is still encompassing travel and things of that nature. So the information that we just went over, you'll still need that information for this too. Because as governors, the bays, we travel. So the federal government issues a statement of work proposal to all the states. This statement lists the state's responsibility to the people, because that's what a state is all about. It has, the state was supposed to assist the people. The bays, who are the governors, who are actually governing, will respond in writing to the federal government stating what they will do for the people and what the financials will be by line item according to the proposal. So the proposal will be a simple proposal. It's not going to be pages and pages. And neither will the return statements regarding that, because no one wants to sit and read a 75-page document. We've done that already. We will place an instrument once that has happened. Once we issued the statement of work for all the states have responded with what they will be doing for the people. We'll place an instrument, an awarded government contract, on the public record and with the banking system. So each state will be awarded money to implement the processes that assist the people. And I'm just telling you how the system works. This is the system that we set up, all of us. The banking system will then enter an amount into our account for the value of the contract. So if you're wondering where the money comes from, this is where it comes from. This is how money is put in the bank and states begin to operate. And I'm saying bank, but I mean treasury, because states and nations have treasury. They don't necessarily have banking. So here we'll go ahead and change that. Okay. The treasury system enters an amount into the state account for the value of said government contract. The people will to have things done on the land, and we are making that happen and enriching the people who work at the same time. Our goal is to preserve the land, to enrich the people, and to peacefully prosper all at once. Okay? And travel will be included in those areas as well, in the statements of work as well. Our movement is cash flowing through the national financial system in the favor of the people. So this is what makes all that we do really easy, is because we have control of everything. In the previous Congress, we talked about using the green return receipt in the previous Congress as a part of our travel ticket, being the Foundoors. Okay, let's pull this on to okay, can you all see the document on the screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, this is the itinerary that I used in 2022, that I created in 2022. But what I did was I just, based on what we stated in the most recent Congress, I went ahead and added a couple of things to this travel and boarding pass affidavit. And again, what I did was I went online and pulled up flight information and took that all the way to right before you have to, quote unquote, pay for it. And I just pulled all of that information here, put it on American Airlines, our own restated letterhead, added our postage, our first class United States mail postage stamp. I put a certified mail tracking number on it, put the returning, the coming and going, departing and returning flight information, and then autographed it. And then this is the return. This is where I'm going, where I would, and for this is an example of where I would be going for my flight to hand carry a mail parcel. Okay, so if you'll notice, this number here, this certified mail number here, matches my ticket here. So my itinerary and my ticket match by way of the post office. And then what I did was my return flight, it looks, is the back side of this return receipt. So this is where I'll be returning back to. And this right here should say, it could say United States Travel and Transportation Ministry, or it could say United States Post Office. Because again, the post office was not active at all while we were asleep. So they had to do a postal service corporation, you know. So, and then I put another first class, because coming and going, we're still going to be at first class. Using this trust, the G10 trust, to do the travel. It's postage and fees paid for our first class travel. Now, are there any questions or comments about what you see here? This is what we talked about in our most recent Congress, about how we would document our travel.
The postal tracking, where you get that?
We just pulled a certified green and white receipt. So we just pulled a certified mail receipt, and we used that for the tracking. And that tracking is going to be, that number would be the travel credit number. Okay.
When you say pull it, what do you mean though?
Go to the post office and pick it up.
Okay.
Go to the post office and get it. It's free. You just go into the post office and pull a green return receipt right here, like on the side here. And then that will be your travel credit number, because this is the same number that was issued when I made the reservation. And then this would be my ticket.
Could I see the bottom of that first page?
The bottom of the first page? Yes, this is going to have it would have the gold seal and the embossment on it as well.
Thank you.
Islam.
Yeah. Islam Empress.
So, the travel credit number, can you explain again what that was?
So, when I went online to make the reservation, there was a travel credit number given, but when I looked at the travel credit number, it's the same as a certified mail return receipt number.
Okay.
It's the same number of digits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. It's around 14 or 15, maybe 16 digits, but a certified mail receipt number would fit there as well.
So that was the old one.
Yeah.
So would we substitute the certified mail for that number, or is that number issued when we get the information for the itinerary?
It was issued when I got the information for the itinerary, But we would, for our records, we would use our certified mail return receipt number.
Okay. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you. Islam. Are you?
Islam.
Islam Empress.
Islam.
So you're saying
Islam.
we should remove the number there on the top number there and use the number that's on the certified mail receipt?
No, you would keep the travel credit number, but maybe but this number right here, for our record system, this is the number we're going to use to document what happened on our spreadsheet.
Oh, okay.
Is what I'm saying.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah.
Islam.
Islam.
Beautiful demonstration, by the way.
Islam. Thank you, Empress.
You're welcome. So my question is, so you went on American Airlines and did the transaction, got the number, the travel credit number for that amount. You restated it with all.
Yeah,
of the
I went online. I went online and got the travel information.
So did you put in any type of transactional payment?
Nope.
None. In order to get this?
None. Not a single thing.
So it's essentially just a reservation.
Yeah. It's a reservation.
Okay.
And then what we would do is, through our system, we would notify that this reservation has been made, and we could send it electronically, by email, and then send it by mail.
Okay.
Email for, to expedite. And then follow up with it, put it in the mail either before you go or when you get back.
All righty. And then, so the barcode is what will be scanned at the desk when we arrive?
We could set that up. Because they do have scanners there that scan IDs and scan, everything.
Okay.
So we could have it set up that way as a part of the process, because with that being set up beforehand, it's going to expedite everything, including the identification process and all of that.
Yeah.
So if we send a copy of this ahead of time and keep the original with us.
Yeah.
And this will serve as both ticket and boarding pass, unless the system creates a separate boarding pass, which wouldn't be a bad idea, because that's how it's done anyway.
Mhm.
And then for us and for our records, we will also have the little square green and white return receipt part that we keep. That portion that we keep for our records. So when we come back, we'll have that to put with, with our receipt.
So my next question is, the sum that had read 800 and some odd credits, that gets tendered how?
So that's between the post office and American Airlines. And what it is for us is American Airlines will make it complimentary, because it's really just an amount for their records. It's not an amount that's being charged. It's not an amount where we would have to pull out anything, because we've let them know in advance. Then between American Airlines and the post office, it's reconciled in the books.
Mhm.
That's how they do it anyway. I mean, even when you pull out a credit card, that's still really not the payment. The payment is when the credit card company and the business come together. So So all we're doing is it's like pulling out a credit card when you pull out this piece of paper. The transaction automatically goes through, and then the companies, because it's a system, the systems reconcile the books, the ledger. Because being the founders of American Airlines, we don't owe American Airlines anything.
Right. I like how you have it spelled out, found door. Like we found the door to travel through.
Yep. Yes. And it's right on the way the system works already. You know.
Islam,
Empress.
So a door is a portal.
Mhm.
My question, in all of the documentation, where is the piece on our identification, our national identification? Is that in the notification anywhere? I mean, we know who we are, and we'll be identifying ourselves, but should that be pre-notified also?
Yes. So as we're setting this system up, or standing it up, our national IDs go with us everywhere. Okay? They go with us everywhere.
Wonderful.
And so the national ID is automatically, founder is built into that. That's why it's a national ID.
So we would send a copy of that along with these documents.
Yes.
Is that what you're saying? Okay. Wonderful.
Yes. And you would send it to the airline, to the two ports, or however many ports. And you would also send it to the subjects in the Office of the Department of Transportation. Oh, and also the subjects in the Office of State Department.
Right.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
And you know, we have lien after lien and levy and bond and all of that all over there.
It's beautiful. I mean, I was looking at how in their enactment, as you had stated with the emperor, the Japanese, and then there are three, apparently in the enactment, there were three people or persons in the enactment, but who did not require a passport. One, the emperor and empress, and then the UK, the actor, King Charles. And so that's our status.
Yes. And we have to stay at that level. That's the thing, you know.
It's actually interesting that you went where you went with this, because I myself I was looking at some of the United States Code with regards to travel and Postmaster General and all of those, and there was something in my own spirit that was the employee, and there were places where authorization was required, and I couldn't find, what it was that was making me squeamish. You brought it to the table.
Yeah.
But this is beautiful.
Well, Empress, you already know I was having the same squeamish feeling, and I was like, ancestors, this doesn't feel right. Help me with it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they always say, like, it's in the Word.
And listen, I have goosebumps.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
I yield. It's in the words and our status.
Jurisdiction.
Yes.
Status.
Yes.
Beautiful.
You know, Empress and more. I'm looking at this process, and I'm also looking at the things that the demonstrations that we've done and how easy the demonstrations were when we wrote our own things. I just know this is going to be just as easy. All I had to do was have the nerve to write it and say, we're going by this.
Islam Empress.
Islam.
In addition to all this, I've also started to prepare the lien, levy, and bond on the immigration, ICE, and Homeland Security, also on the airports and the customs.
Yeah, that's necessary, very necessary. Many have done that already, but you must do it because the Spirit said for you to do it.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. Islam. Islam Justice Ogumale.
For further clarification on the travel credit number, on each one of our itineraries, is it going to be a number that we have to put there that's going to be different from each one?
It'll be different for each one.
Okay.
Yeah. And that number and this certified return receipt number is going to be the bank accounts that speak to each other.
So we have them next to each other.
You can put them next to each other.
Okay.
Because those two will be reconciling and speaking to each other. Further proof of that is, remember, we're talking about the G10 portion. Here, let's show that again. Here where it says permit number G10, you see that? Let me just ask you, what law, code, or statute, and this is in alignment with what we're talking about, what law, code, or statute allows for land locations without a zip code? Because, you know, we send our mail without a zip code and it still gets there, even though in the retail portion of the postal service, they say it can't go anywhere without a zip code. But with the post office, does anyone know what law, code, or statute allows for land locations without a zip code?
In answer to the question, because the zip codes are US, U.S.
That's one place, but that's one place. Let me clarify it, because that's not altogether wrong, because it does have something to do with jurisdiction and the land. It actually is United States Code, United States Post Office Permit G10. But when you look up G10, it's G010. That's G10. It says, and I'll give you the link to this. Here, I'll put the link in the chat. Because this is, I have been looking for this for a long time. I knew in my spirit that we did not have to use zip codes, but I couldn't say why other than what you just said, Empress Shasha. We're on the lands, and I just stood on that, and it worked. You know, me standing on, this is the land, and we don't have to have that. You know, it worked. But recently, the ancestor showed me more about Permit G10. And just a moment, let me make sure I get that in there. It says here about G10 It says when distribution is to be made to each stop or possible delivery on city carrier routes. So what that's talking about is each post office box or each person's mailbox or whatever. It says when distribution is to be made to each one of those or possible delivery on city carrier routes or to each post office box holder at a post office with city carrier service, the addressee's name, street address, or post office box number, city, state, and zip code may be omitted from the address only on pieces mailed as official matter by agencies of the federal government, any state, any city, or municipal government, and the governments of the District of Columbia, the Commonwealth of Puerto Rico, and any U.S. territorial possession listed in G10. So we didn't even have to put names on there. We did not. Islam, Empress.
So I thought it was the Buck Act when I think about the law that we stand on. Islam.
That's what Empress Shasha quoted. That's what she was alluding to, is the Buck Act. The Buck Act just means that they altered things, the spelling of things, and started using abbreviations and things of that nature. That's all the Buck Act is. It's just covering something up by disguising it in a disguise that looks similar, but it's not exact. And it comes from a different jurisdiction. That's really what the Buck Act is. So you're correct about that. This is just another implementation of that by way of the post office.
It's interesting. Okay, so in this past strong, what I was looking at was how we address ourselves, how we address the resources that we are able to claim, and how we look at the accountability of that. Accounts are how we record information, but accounts are also about there being a balance in the records, like that resources are coming from one point and are being received at another point. Mm-hmm. And so I was looking at it from the point of an audit, that an audit is a record of how resources are being accounted for. Mm-hmm. Right? In this demonstration, which, and it truly is a beautiful demonstration because it ties together so much of jurisdiction at all levels, right? In that, when we state that we are going and are going to be received, it is a full transaction. It's like all the goal and the objective is being met. Yes. In our affidavits. It's complete, if you get what I'm saying there. Mm-hmm. And because our jurisdiction, gratitude for the information about being founders, we are in the jurisdiction to command that. Yes. Islam. Gratitude, Empress.
Yes, Empress. When we write it up, and we all agreed to come together and do that together in terms of, we were going to manifest our will together as a nation, then these kinds of things is how it's done. We don't have to use any other nation's writings. In fact, we can't use their writings. We have to make our own. And this just so happened to be, because it's coming through the post office is a universal union. It's a universal postal union. So it's a union of all the resources whether it be, no matter what it is, we have access to those resources by way of the universal union. And that's why using the post office in this process is so important. And then knowing each level of action. And the founder is, because again, we thought we were going into post offices when we first woke up. We were actually continuing to make a left turn and go to the retail portion, which is not the post office. It's a store. It's like going to Walmart. When you walk into that building called a post office, we thought we were going into a government structure. It's not government if the government ain't there.
It's wrong.
And now it is the government because here we are. It's customs and usage. We've been doing it for years, Empress, so it's customs and use. It's customary.
Yes. Yes. Yes, it is. Yes. I affirm.
All we had to do was come together and think about it. And as you all were talking and speaking, this most recent Congress, this previous Sunday, as you were speaking, I was thinking, I felt the ease of the process, and then I sat down Friday, and because information started coming on Friday, and as the information started to come, the ancestor said, this is really easy to put together. You don't have to set aside 3 days, like, just take a few minutes to write it out and put it together and scan it in. And the one thing I didn't do was scan in the final product. So, are there any Islam?
As I'm listening, and again, my apologies for the echo. I'm hearing in the enactment the mail order catalogs and all of those things. You could literally buy a house by mail order, by the post. I mean, so my head is going. Everything all resources ought be accessible through a similar, or if not the same process.
Yes.
And I remember when I was growing up, they had like these books. They were called, what was it called? It had green stamps.
Huh? Yeah. I said Spiegel.
Okay, something like that, but in England it was, but you collected stamps, post office. I mean, and everything was, you ordered and things were delivered via the mail. And I mean, literally, you could buy anything, in inverted commas, via the post and by mail order catalog. Yeah, man.
It's interesting that you use the word the post.
That's how it.
That's the key.
It actually. That's the key. That's the key. The post. I mean, in order for a structure, you must have posts.
Yes.
A post is a marker.
Yes.
As you stated before, each post office is a post.
Yes.
It's
a port also.
It's a
port.
It's a port. That's why which in French, port is door. So when you stated founder, when you brought that, I'm looking at, because the founder, all founder to the sovereign. All ports open. So, I mean, beautiful. Islam. I yield.
Islam. Now, let me say this too, Morris. The post office is the jurisdiction for all things. Currencies are traded and exchanged there. Things that come from everywhere else in the world come there and is put in the right place and sent to the right place, transcribed, changed, exchanged. The post office is where, if you have francs, Swiss francs, you can change them at the post office to dollarium or whatever, or any other type of money. You can even change them into stamps, and then when you get where you're going, change the stamps back into money. So the post office is a port. It's a portal. And that's what makes this process even more effective. Because even dollarium can be changed at the post office because we are the post office. Islam nobility.
What about taking the debt notes to the post office and changing them to dollariums?
Well, you can't really change debt into credit.
Okay.
But now, I'm glad you said that, because when we talked about, there's an echo coming from somewhere. Let me see, just a moment. When we talked about the $100 million, about 2 Congresses ago, we talked about $100 million, having that to use to do things, but having it can be in green notes that have a red treasury stamp on them, and then we have to sign them or have a signature from 2 of us, 1 or 2 of us on them. That's something we could actually order from somewhere. Those, if you'll notice over time, when the dollar was actually a dollar or a gold certificate or a silver certificate, it was still a green note with some words on it and some numbers and some seals and things like that. We could have a version of that printed up that will still work down at the grocery store and over at, the vendor and over here and over there. We could still do that, but it has to have one of our signatures on it. It has to have one of our signatures and a red treasury stamp on it. So that one you could change for dollarium, because it has to have our signature on it. So you know how the debt notes have on what they call the obverse. They don't even call it the back, they call it the obverse of the notes. It has, on one side it has a pyramid, on the other side it has a bird. We could have new, not notes. It wouldn't be notes, it would be dollars. new dollars issued that look very similar to that would fit all the machines and all of that stuff, the cash machines and all of that. But it has to have the red seal and our signature on it. And our signature has to be blue, not black. It has to be blue. All they did was change the gold-backed money to something. They kept making subtle changes over the years, and nobody rebutted the changes. And all we're doing is subtly, and in some cases not so subtly, changing everything back. So we could do that. We could still do that.
Islam,
Empress.
So is this would be a little bit of a change in what was discussed, as you stated, a couple congresses back, where we'd have the 100 million, the issuance, and then it was all going to be signed and sealed and then disseminated amongst those who we met in together in Washington.
Mm-hmm.
So what you're stating in that case, would it be the same exchanging delirium for that?
It would be that.
Whatever the Federal Reserve dollar.
It would be a treasury dollar.
That's right. We did.
It would be a treasury dollar. But usable in everywhere. It would be a universal treasury dollar. Just like the post office.
I like that idea.
Yeah, just like the post office is a universal union. Our thing is we will get as close as possible, but we will never compromise. We're never going to submit or anything like that. We'll get close to, in process-wise, we'll make it look similar to those processes, but it's going to come from us. It has to come from us. So we're not giving not even a little bit of slack on that, because we don't have to. We can create just like we're doing now, creating universal. And see, it's by way of the post office that delirium and gold and silver is going to get out to the people. This Congress stated how the post office would work. We've done that on various occasions. Here, these are just links to some of the videos that we did. The post office lien, levy, and bond. We did a Postmaster General's video way back. It's been probably 4 years ago. And then we also did the prepaid mailing process for our post office, or the post office. Here is something else I found as I was reading. I found some definitions that the post office uses. We can do this however we will to do it, and that's exactly what we're doing. We're just writing it up, letting the Spirit lead us, and making things as convenient for us and for everyone as we can. Bills and statements of account. So this is about accounts, post office accounts. Bills and statements of account must be mailed as first-class mail or express mail according to these definitions. A bill is a request for payment of a definite sum of money claimed to be owing by the addressee to the sender or third party. The mere assertion of a debt in a definite sum combined with a demand for payment is sufficient to make the message a bill. I just found this to be very interesting. A statement of account is the assertion. You see the words they're using? The assertion of a debt. It's not a debt. It's just somebody said it was a debt. In a definite amount owed by the addressee to the sender or a third party, but does not necessarily contain a request or demand for payment. The amount may be immediately due or may become due after a certain time or on demand or billing at a later date. Let me just ask you, does anyone know when the Federal Reserve debt notes became due and payable? Because you know they're a bill. That's why they were calling it a dollar bill. That's a bill for $1. Do you know when they became due and payable?
Is it on demand?
Some of them, yeah. Some of them. That's why people went to debtors' prison, because they didn't pay on demand. Some of them, yeah.
It have to be before bankruptcy.
Huh?
So it would have to be before bankruptcy.
It's actually after bankruptcy. That's why everything has changed, because we said we demand payment now. Remember when we did the bankruptcy proceedings and we put them on the public record? Let's take a look at when we did that, because the date that we were doing the bankruptcy proceedings is very important, extremely important. So we did the bankruptcy proceedings July 28, 2022, and we did several of them at that time. There it is right there. There's one of them. Here's another one. This one we did. Let's just take a look at the date. August 4th, 2022. Bankruptcy continued. Notice due process for liquidation. And if you go back to the news cycles around that time, you'll see some things that happened as a result of us doing that. A statement of account, I believe we read that one already. A bill or statement of account must present enough details of a debt to inform the debtor of the amount the debtor must pay to acquit himself or herself of the debt. Neither a bill nor a statement of account need state the precise amount if the bill or statement contains enough information to enable the debtor to determine the exact amount of the claim asserted. A bill or statement of account does not lose that character just because the amount claimed is not in fact owing or may not be legally collectible. Now, let me say this, Morris. Did you all know that I'll have to say all of the acts that we thought they enacted, before they ever even did them, they were already void and not valid and repealed and not real? I mean, I know we say that a lot, but I'm starting to actually see it in the writings. Just like the Act of 1871, because it was repealed, it was never valid. So DC was never valid. Taxes were never valid. None of that stuff was ever valid. The Act of 1871 was repealed in 1874.
Islam.
Islam nobility.
Technically, it couldn't have been valid because they was acting.
Exactly. But now we have even more affirmation of that. That means that all those actors down the street acting like police and acting like sheriffs and acting like judges, that's not real. That was repealed in 1874. Think about that one. So if it wasn't real, what's really going on? We got to think about that. Do you know what else that means? About the people around, the persons around living in these, looking like they're living in these domiciles? They're not supposed to be there either, because they were only existing under the Act of 1871. Islam. It's all fiction, Empress Shasha. It's all fiction. That's why what we're doing is so effective. That's why what we're doing is what it should be. Now, listen to this, Morris, really quickly about when you send anything, or even when we use this process to travel. It says full responsibility rests with the mailer to comply with all postal and non-postal laws and regulations regarding the mailing of hazardous materials. All that was really saying to me, and to say this the way that we would say it, is that it doesn't matter what anyone else says. It's the mailer that has the right to do what we're doing. The one who's sending has the right to do the research on a parcel process and make sure that we comply with our own parcel process. Now, I Googled flight regulations for high-value persons because, again, the ancestors just really made it clear to me to stay up. Don't go down in your status to get things done. You stay up. Don't be an employee. Stay up. So in Googling the term flight regulations for high-value persons, because that's a term that kind of came into my purview, this is what I found in the post office or the postal service draft. So, of course, we changed it and upgraded it. It says private terminal access. High-value founders often use private terminals, e.g. the private suite at LAX, at Los Angeles Airport, that offer dedicated security and private transit to the aircraft, enhancing security and privacy. And then I saw something else here, recommendations for high-value travelers. Utilize VIP terminal services for increased security and privacy. And then it talks about pre-filling out a FinCEN 105 before arriving at the airport. And I did a little research on the FinCEN 105 form. And all it is, number one, if you're a high-value traveler, as it says right here, high-value travelers, then you may in our mailings, we're always having documents in there that have a value of whatever the amount of the lien is, or whatever the amount of the document is. 100 million here, $1 million there, 10 million here, or whatever the case may be. When we have those types of documents, those high-value documents, we have the right and the authority to travel a certain way. The FinCEN 105 form, of course, we would restate it. That's just to make security aware that a high-value traveler is coming through with documentation that is high value. We have the right and the authority to arrange for armored transport and armed security to and from the aircraft if necessary. But I don't see that that would be like armed and armored. I don't see that those things are necessary. But we have that option for high-value travelers. Our things have been getting where they're going very well, and we've sent many high-value parcels, many. In fact, every parcel we've ever sent was high value. It says here, high value, and I put imperial, and I could have put Foundoors, flying. They said high value individuals. Flying travelers can utilize expedited private or VIP terminal services for secure, private, and expedited security. Key flight regulations for high-value travelers. And I found some things here. Did you know that we could actually use off-site or expedited security screening services? In other words, we can screen ourselves beforehand It says it right there. We can use private, off-site, or expedited security screening systems. Instead of services, we use systems. So we can do that ourselves. We can have our own private screening off-site and then go to where we're going. It says, and we read this already, postal employees, yeah. Because we're founders, we can use private, off-site, or expedited security screening. But whenever I look at these, I see the doorways that we can, that make it so that we can get and do and restate things properly. So for those who may be interested in reading that, it is interesting reading. Now, Moors, if you are a Moor who is who has done the lien, levy, and bond process, and you've also done the 40 documents, it's now time to use the legal system, because see, that's the lawful system, to take those same processes, the very same ones, and use the legal system. I would ask, specifically, if you're one of the Moors who is looking for a domicile and things of that nature, the 40 documents, study the Congresses, have your information, your status, and everything on the public record to include the 40 documents. Know the lien, levy, and bond process, and then start looking at the legal way to properly do a lien. on a domicile, on a house, the proper way to do it. We'll go over that soon because I know some of you, and I'm so excited every time I hear this, some of you have property at this territory that you have claim on. There is absolutely 100% excitement here because of that. So we're going to go through that process of filing a lien so that there can be no selling of the place and no movement of that place in the legal system. And then you can do a proper foreclosure on that place, whatever place it is, so that you have domiciliary, so that you have homes. Okay. We know the process. We already know what it is. We know every step of it. We know exactly what to do with that. So just be sure that you have the 40 documents. You know the lien, levy, and bond process. And you've done the lien, levy, and bond process at least 3 times because it's going to be necessary. The simplicity, things are about to get so simple and so easy because the legal system is easy. It's an easy system. Very easy. We already have it in the palm of our hand. With that being stated, are there any other questions, comments, wisdom from this amazing Congress?
Islam.
Islam nobility.
I just looked up another itinerary, and some of the flight numbers got letters and numbers. Okay, I just wanted to clarify that.
Yeah, it depends on which airline. They each created their own internal record system or an internal way to track flights, and so some use numbers, some use letters, some use both.
Okay, thank you for that.
Islam Empress.
Islam Empress.
I had the opportunity of doing some research and saw the vacant seats on the Board of Governors for every I would say subject in the office of governor. So yes, it was like, oh my goodness. There were probably only 3 that said that they were there, but we know that they are not. But Islam.
You know that's the indicator right there. That's an indicator. Yeah. We're already there. It's already a wrap on the things that we're doing. We just have to keep doing what we're doing. That's it. Just keep going. It's been almost 10 years.
Do you have a couple of minutes after Congress?
Yes, I do.
Islam, I'd like to speak with you.
Islam Empress. Is there anyone else prior to us adjourning?
Chief Empress White, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, nobility.
I'm so thankful, Empress. I'm gonna try to make you help you to heal. I talked with you a couple of times back in 2017. I'm out of Fort Worth, Texas. I sent you my driver's license. You said you didn't know me, so I sent you my driver's license. And I'm in Atlanta, Georgia. At the time, I was living in Fort Worth, Texas. I'm 78 years old. I don't know a lot about computers and stuff like that. I'm in Atlanta, Georgia now, in Union City, Georgia. I was wondering if there's anyone that may be able to assist me. I sent you some information. I don't know if they got it to you or not. But I'm still under my slave name. I told you I'm a preacher, but a lot of things that these preachers preach, I preach against. I preach against the 501c3.
Can you turn the you have some media going in the background. It actually sounds like my voice. Can you just turn it down a little bit? I can hear myself back there.
Okay. Yes.
It's up a little loud.
Can you hear me?
To make sure that we hear you. Yes.
Anyway, I know you get so many people. That's okay. You hear from all the time. I'm 78 years old, and I want to be able to move forward as a Moor. I do believe that I do have some understanding that we are, by blood and birthright, are Moors, but I don't understand how to move forward. I don't have any documents or anything like that. I know everybody's real busy, but if there's anyone, particularly in the Atlanta, Georgia area, that could assist me, I'd appreciate it. Or if you could send me something, I'll give you my. Should I give you my email or what? I tried to write you. I don't know if you got any information for me or not. Atlanta, Georgia, Union City,
Georgia. It depends. But I will say this, if I may, that while you are waiting for someone to assist you, you can handwrite. You don't have the computer.
Say again.
You don't have to do your paperwork by computer. Can you hear me?
Okay, I don't. Yes, ma'am. I don't know what that paperwork is, though. Okay.
I'm gonna tell you. I'll tell you which video to go under, because you've already declared your nationality, haven't you? Or no, you said you were still under a slave name. Is that what you said?
I'm still under a slave. I've declared it like in courts. Like I've sent documents to the courts, like saying that I am by blood and by birthright a Moor, like that. I've done it like that, but not through the Moor system. So I haven't done it that
way. Actually, when you said it that way, that is the Moor system.
Oh, well, help me. Thank you for helping me out.
Well, yeah, because each one of us is the system, and what we do makes the system go. It's by our own words and our hands and our writing that is our Moor system. We are our Moor system. So should I give you my
should I give you my email over the air or what?
No, I'm going to direct you to one of the videos, and if you go under the video and click the link, it'll show you the documents. And all you have to do is write them out. Okay? Let me find the one video. Yes, let's start here because some of your questions are going to be answered while you're writing out this paperwork, while you're writing it out. So there is a video on my channel that says, the title of the video. Do you have something to write with?
I do.
The title of the video is How to Proclaim Your Nationality.
How to
proclaim. PROCLAIM. How to proclaim your nationality. And then it says Moors traveling abroad is like the second part of that video. The video was done on December 17th, 2020.
12/17/2020.
So when you go under the videos, do you know how to look in the description and find links? So like if you look under the video, it'll say show more, and you click on show more.
Okay. All right then. I follow
And
you.
under there is a link to a Google Drive. There's a link under there, a blue link. When you click on that link, it is going to take you to some nationality documents. Okay? It's going to take you to a name change affidavit. And all you have to do is write this document out, but instead of it saying Pauline Denise Ritchie, you'll put your holy appellation that your mother gave you.
Okay. Just do it in lowercase. Or do it uppercase.
Do it the way you see it done, the way you see it done in the document.
Okay.
Because it is done correctly in the document.
All right then.
Okay. And this is the place to start. This one document is the place to start for nationality. When you will to declare your nationality on paper, write it out, and you might have to write it and then get a copy machine and copy it, or you might have to write it out 4 or 5 or 6 times to have 4 or 5 or 6 copies of originals, rather.
What do I do with it once I write it out?
Then you tribute that to wherever you will to tribute it. So if you want to put it on the public record, what you do is you can take it to or mail it to the county, the subjects in the office of county, the county court. Okay. And that's to notify them. So you don't have to pay anything to file it. What you do is, the way that I did it was I hand delivered it and I just put it on the counter and walked out. I didn't talk to anybody or anything. I just went into the building and I put it on the counter and I walked out. That is
so
notification.
do I go to the do I go to a district court or municipal court to do that?
It would be a county court house.
Okay.
County court house. So like if you were in Atlanta, it would be Fulton County Court.
Okay.
Okay. And again, I didn't talk to anybody. All I did was just find the nearest counter that had a person sitting there. I didn't talk to the person. I just put the papers on the counter and walked out. And sometimes they try and stop you so that you can get some, so that they can understand what the paperwork is. They want you to explain it instead of them reading it. But we don't explain it to them. We want them to read it. Okay? We will that they read it. So we don't stop. We just put it on the counter and we walk out. Okay? That's called giving notification. Okay? And then you can mail it, like if you have any debt that's happening, or any fake courts or fake tickets or anything like that, then you start sending it to those places also.
Okay.
The Prophet Noble Jew Ali stated that if you do nothing else, declare your nationality. That is what you've done, and that is what you're doing in writing now. Okay?
Okay.
That one document is where you start.
Okay. I understand that part, but like I said, there's still a lot of other things. I mean, how do I navigate these other things is what I'm...
So,
I see a lot of things that you all are talking about.
Yes. Here's what we encourage you to do.
All right.
The other things those bridges you will cross when you get there. Don't worry about those now. Right now, what's most important is that you know by your actions who you are. So when you do this document first and give it to at least 3 places, at least 3. If you're, whatever it is that you're dealing with, just start there. these processes, there are a lot of processes out there, but they all have the same formula. The same formula is they start with nationality with that document that you're doing. Okay.
You said give it to three places.
Yes.
Go ahead. You said give it to 3 places. I know you said give it to the county courthouse in Fulton County. Do that. And what are the 2 other places should I give it to?
If you have, well, it depends on what you have going on in your life. If you have, someone's trying to put debt on you, then you'll notify them with the documentation.
Notify them. All right then. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I'll look for that information. You said how to proclaim your nationality.
Yes. How to proclaim your nationality.
Up under where you're in the videos as you do where it said more. I'll find it there. I'll find this particular document.
Yeah, it says like Tajiri Bay channel. Yes, on YouTube.
Okay.
How to proclaim your nationality is the video. Yeah.
I do appreciate that. Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate all of you giving me a little time and space. Thank you.
Thank you, Nobility. We appreciate you.
Islam Empress.
Islam Nobility.
Much love and respect. That brother there, I would like to assist him if it's possible with his 40 documents.
Islam.
Yes, my brother. I'm Chief Justice Anthony Jadising. I'm from Jamaica.
Yes,
I see your number there on the screen. With your permission, if it's okay, I would contact you. I'm offering to assist you with your 40 documents.
I appreciate it.
Islam,
I got a whole.
Chief Justice Judising does not accept fiat for his assistance.
Right. Well, I look forward because I believe that's part of what I was born for.
Beautiful.
Preach against these lies that you see. I look forward to hearing from you.
Whether fiat or any other currency, I'm not charging anything. I'm doing it from the more to a more.
Yeah, Islam.
I'll look to hear from you. Call me anytime.
Yeah.
No problem.
I'll look to hear.
Just so that you know, Brown, it is a good idea that you do your own documents, so that you at least start to write that document out. Okay.
I understand. Thank you, ma'am.
That one, because you're okay. With that being said, Empress Nabi, I'll meet with you briefly afterwards. So, peace and grand rising to the sovereign, original, indigenous, natural, divine heirs. Islam.
Islam. My name is
Gratitude, peace and love.
Love you all.
Peace and love. Peace and love.
Love and total respect to all the Moors.
Islam. Peace and grand rising. Islam.